Hey you, welcome back to Secrets with Maeve, the space for the conversations we usually keep to ourselves. I'm Maeve. Today we're talking about something I know so many of us struggle with in silence. If she does these 3 things, never let her go. Let's get into it. You think finding the right woman is about chemistry and butterflies and that feeling in your chest when she walks into the room, and you're not completely wrong, but here's what nobody tells you. Those feelings lie. They lie all the time. They'll have you chasing ghosts and building futures with people who were never real in the first place. Let me tell you something that's going to save you years of wasted time and broken expectations. The woman you marry isn't the one who makes you feel the most. She's the one who makes you better. And there's a massive difference between those 2 things that most men never figure out until it's too late. Before we go further, hit that subscribe button right now. Not because I need you to, because you need the reminder. You need these truths dropped in your feed when you're about to make decisions based on feelings instead of facts. You need this voice in your ear when the world is telling you to settle or chase or compromise who you are. That's what this channel is for. Now let's get into it. Here's the reality. Most men are walking around with a checklist that doesn't mean anything. She's beautiful. She's fun. She makes you laugh. She's exciting. And sure, those things matter on some level, but they're not the foundation. They're the decoration. And you don't build a life on decoration. You build it on structure, on substance, on the things that hold up when everything else falls apart. So what are those signs? What are the real markers that separate the woman you marry from the woman you're just wasting time with? First sign, she respects your mission more than she needs your attention. Listen carefully. A high-value woman doesn't compete with your purpose. She doesn't pout when you're building. She doesn't guilt you for having goals that don't revolve around her. She understands that a man without a mission is a man without a spine, and she wants no part of that. When you tell her you need to lock in, need to focus, need to handle business, she doesn't take it personally. She takes it as proof that you're the kind of man worth standing beside. That's rare. That's the difference between a girl and a woman. A girl needs constant validation. A woman gives you space to become who you're meant to be because she knows that version of you is the one she actually wants. You think you want someone who can't get enough of you, who's always texting, always needing, always pulling, but what you actually want is someone who can stand on her own, someone who has her own life, her own goals, her own center of gravity, because that's the only kind of woman who won't drain you. The needy ones, the ones who make you their entire world. They seem like love at first, but they're not love. They're dependence. And dependence turns into resentment faster than you think. Second sign, she holds you accountable without tearing you down. This is the fine line most people can't walk. She sees when you're slipping. She notices when you're making excuses, when you're not showing up as the man you said you'd be, and she says something. But here's the key. She doesn't do it to humiliate you. She doesn't throw it in your face in front of other people. She doesn't use your weaknesses as weapons in an argument. She pulls you aside. She speaks to the man she knows you can be, not the version of you that's failing in the moment. That's called respect. That's called partnership. A woman who believes in your potential but refuses to let you hide from it, that's the woman who makes you better. Most men confuse criticism with hate. They think if she's pointing out where you're falling short, she doesn't love you. Wrong. Dead wrong. The woman who never challenges you, who never pushes back, who just agrees with everything you say, she's not loyal. She's indifferent. She doesn't care enough to fight for the best version of you. The right woman will call you out and you'll feel it. It'll sting, but deep down, you'll know she's right, and that sting will turn into fuel. Third sign, she adds to your peace, not your chaos. You know that feeling when you're around certain people and your nervous system just relaxes. That's not luck. That's compatibility. That's emotional maturity. The wrong woman, no matter how attractive, no matter how fun, she's going to activate your stress response. There's going to be drama. There's going to be uncertainty. There's going to be this constant low-level anxiety about where you stand, what she's thinking, whether she's happy, whether you're doing enough. And you're going to mistake that intensity for passion. You're going to think the highs and lows mean it's real, but it's not real. It's dysfunction. It's attachment trauma dressed up as romance. The right woman is different. When you come home, you exhale. When you talk to her, you don't have to perform. You don't have to manage her emotions or walk on eggshells or decode mixed signals. She's clear. She's consistent. She's calm. And that calm isn't boring. It's powerful. It's the kind of peace that lets you build empires because you're not wasting energy on emotional turbulence. You're investing it in the things that matter. Listen, if your relationship feels like a roller coaster, you're not in love. You're addicted. And addiction will destroy you every single time. Fourth sign, she respects herself enough that you have to respect her too. This is the one most men miss. They think they want a woman who's easy, who's flexible, who goes along with whatever. But what that actually creates is contempt. You can't respect someone who doesn't respect themselves. You can't value someone who has no boundaries. The right woman has standards. She has lines you can't cross. And when you try, even by accident, she doesn't explode. She just steps back. She doesn't need to convince you of her worth. She knows it. And if you don't see it, she's fine walking away. That's the energy that makes a man step up. Not nagging, not ultimatums, not manipulation, just the quiet certainty that she will not tolerate disrespect. And here's the paradox. That's what makes you want to honor her, because she's not chasing your validation. She's not bending herself into shapes to keep you interested. She's just standing there whole and complete. And you realize that losing her would be the stupidest thing you could ever do. Fifth sign, she enhances your reputation, not damages it. Pay attention to this. When you're with the right woman, people respect you more. Your family likes her. Your friends see you leveling up. Strangers look at you too and think that's a solid couple. She's not starting fights in public. She's not embarrassing you. She's not the story people tell about you in a negative way. She carries herself with dignity. And that dignity reflects on you, because whether you like it or not, the woman you're with is a statement about who you are. She's a mirror of your standards, your judgment, your values. If she's messy, dramatic, disrespectful, what does that say about you? If she's poised, supportive, graceful, what does that say? You think this is shallow. You think it's about appearances. It's not. It's about alignment. It's about choosing someone whose energy matches the life you're trying to build. Sixth sign, she supports you publicly and corrects you privately. This is non-negotiable. The woman you marry never, and I mean never, undermines you in front of other people. She doesn't disagree with you in front of your friends. She doesn't mock you to get a laugh. She doesn't air your business to her family or on social media. In public, she's your ally, your teammate, your co-pilot. But in private, if you messed up, if you were wrong, if you need to hear something hard, she'll say it and you'll listen because you trust her, because she's earned the right to speak into your life. This is the balance that weak relationships can't hold. Either she's too scared to correct you and you become arrogant, or she's correcting you in front of everyone and you lose respect for her. The right woman knows when and how to speak. And that wisdom, that emotional intelligence, that's what separates the girls from the grown women. Seventh sign, she's not trying to change your core, just refine your edges. Listen close. If she's trying to turn you into someone else, if she's got a project version of you in her head that she's working toward, run. That's not love. That's control. That's her deciding you're not enough as you are. The right woman sees who you are at your core, your values, your character, your essence, and she loves that. She's not trying to make you more like her ex or more like her dad or more like some fantasy she built. She's refining you. She's helping you be a better version of yourself, not a different person. There's a huge difference. She's not asking you to give up your friends, your hobbies, your identity. She's asking you to be more disciplined, more intentional, more present. She's asking you to grow, not shrink, and you can feel the difference. One feels like freedom. The other feels like a cage. So let's talk about what this all costs when you ignore it. Let's talk about what happens when you marry the wrong woman because you were thinking with your feelings instead of your future. You wake up 5 years in and you don't recognize yourself. You're resentful. You're exhausted. You're managing her emotions instead of building your empire. You're walking on eggshells in your own home. You've lost your edge, your confidence, your peace. And you look back and realize you saw the signs. You knew she wasn't the one, but you ignored it because she was beautiful, because the sex was good, because you didn't want to start over, because you were scared of being alone. That fear, that comfort seeking, that's what destroys men, not the wrong woman. Your refusal to walk away from the wrong woman. Here's the reframe. Being single isn't the problem. Being with the wrong person is, and the right woman isn't going to show up until you become the kind of man she's looking for. That's the part nobody wants to hear. You want her to appear ready-made, perfect for you while you're still half-developed, still figuring it out, still playing games. It doesn't work that way. The man who attracts a high-value woman is the man who has his life together. He's not perfect, but he's intentional. He knows what he's building. He has standards. He has boundaries. He's done the work on himself. So he's not looking for someone to complete him. He's looking for someone to complement him. And that's a completely different search. That man doesn't chase. He doesn't beg. He doesn't convince. He presents himself as he is. And the right woman recognizes it. She sees his clarity, his groundedness, his self-respect, and she gravitates toward it. Because high-value women aren't attracted to potential. They're attracted to presence. They're attracted to men who are already on the path, not men who are talking about the path. So here's what you do. You stop looking for her and you start building yourself. You get your finances in order. You get your body in shape. You get your mind right. You develop your skills, your mission, your purpose. You become the kind of man who doesn't need a woman to validate him, but who's ready to build with one who meets his standard. And then you watch. You watch how differently women show up in your life when you're no longer desperate, no longer needy, no longer chasing. You stop settling. You stop making excuses. You stop ignoring red flags because you're lonely. You'd rather be alone and at peace than in a relationship and in chaos. That's the shift. That's the standard. And when you hold that line, when you refuse to compromise on what you know you deserve, the right woman will show up. And you'll know, not because of butterflies, not because of feelings, but because everything we just talked about, every single one of those signs will be present. She'll respect your mission. She'll hold you accountable with love. She'll add to your peace. She'll respect herself. She'll enhance your reputation. She'll support you publicly and correct you privately. She'll refine you without trying to change you. And when you find that, you lock it in. You don't hesitate. You don't play games. You don't wonder if there's someone better out there. You recognize value. You recognize partnership. And you build. Because here's the truth. Nobody tells you the right relationship isn't about finding someone perfect. It's about finding someone whose imperfections you can live with and whose strengths make you better. It's about compatibility, not chemistry. It's about partnership, not passion. Passion fades. Compatibility compounds. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are not at the mercy of whoever shows interest. You are the architect of your life. And that includes who you let into it. You set the standard, you hold the line, you do the work. And when the right woman shows up, you'll be ready. Not because you've been waiting, because you've been building. Now, if this hit you, if you felt that shift, subscribe to this channel right now because we're going deeper. We're going to keep breaking down the lies you've been sold and replacing them with the truth you need to hear. This isn't about feel-good content. This is about real good content, the kind that changes trajectory, the kind that separates the men who win from the men who wonder what happened. You belong here. This is your community. This is where the work gets done. You're not lost. You're just being rebuilt. And that woman you're looking for, she's waiting for the finished version. So get to work.